Right here, so was the house, and the door was right here, so. And then this was the front yard. And then when we open the door, we can climb on the step and go outside into the front yard.
What do you think now? How you feel about all this here?
Sad.
Sad?
Yes.
Is that your backpack for school?
Hmm?
This is your school backpack?
Yes.
What's this here?
My mother bed.
Your mother bed?
Yes. But we used to sleep in there.
You used to sleep in there?
Right here. There's some books right here, so. And comb. And right here, so where the house was built, the other side. And we used to walk down, go to the bathroom.
Do you go to the bathroom down here?
Yes.
What happened to the bathroom now? Tree fall on it, no true.
There's a pencil right here, so.
I tell you, man.
And a comb right here, so break.
There's your comb.
This is my mother comb.
Yeah.
And this is the American book, but it's filthy. Books right here, so. And comb. And right here, so where the house was built, the other side. And we used to walk down, go to the bathroom.
Do you go to the bathroom down here?
Yes.
What happened to the bathroom now? Tree fall on it, no true. Yeah.
Yes.
But even in the ashes,
And this thing
the
was
Holy
mine.
Scriptures, and this
This
is
thing was mine because
still
it's
there.
a charger thing.
still right on. That was
This is-
yours?
Yes.
Yeah. Holy Scriptures
Take it out.
right here.
And
On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype. We make it take flight. Yeah, man, my viewers and subscribers, what go on? A blessed and wonderful Wednesday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now, my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we're going in Jamaica. So watch your snow, my peeps, in the morning, yeah. We are going to definitely give you a lot of much needed information. You remember most of the things that the opposition leader Mark Golan was speaking about in yesterday's vlog? Well, the Prime Minister put everything into place to answer all the much needed questions. And all those areas that were cut off, that are presently marooned, the Prime Minister are going to get some help too, no, ASAP. Now, we are going to speak to the residents them also in certain sections of Westmoreland to include Beeston, Spring. Help is on the way. We know so no cut off around there. We know say the people them are go through it, not even drinking water we know have around there. We know that help is on the way. You know the wickedest thing about this disaster, because trust me now, Melissa, a weapon of mass destruction in a man. May I tell you, Melissa coming like an atomic bomb. But the thing about this storm that has passed, it destroyed a whole lot of people in a whole lot of places. So whole heap of people get affected same time. Whole heap of people need help same time. but limited amount of resources and people to provide the help to everybody at the same time. So it got just take some time for reach everybody. But we just hope for some, by the time it reach, it is not too late. But some of these roads are impassable. One of my subscribers reached out to me from the Beeson Spring area, and that person admitted that there is literally no roads, not even for trucks to traverse in, as the roads would have collapsed into trenches and gullies. So the road not did it. So it's kind of hard for reach them people with aid. He's suggesting for use the helicopters to drop the food. Well, the Prime Minister got do exactly just that. So this morning's vlog is basically to give you the much needed information to the persons out there who need it, yard and abroad. They have also extended from November 28th for persons who wish to ship things into the end of December. Persons traveling on American airline going into Ian Fleming. I'm not sure if they extended to Montego Bay and Kingston, but I know Ian Fleming Airport. Your 2 check bags will be waived. Persons traveling on JetBlue into Kingston and Montego Bay, your 2 check bag will also be waived. So whole heap of things are going. Everybody are trying to help every way that they can. And we just want to extend our deepest appreciation to everybody, yard and abroad. Foreigners, Jamaicans, everybody will come in, come help. People as far as in El Salvador, Spanish-speaking countries are flying, come help. We give thanks because every mickle make a muckle. No matter how small it is, my peeps, yard or abroad, from you have it, give it. And those were there a yard and you can't afford the money, give a pound of flesh. The persons them need it down there. You understand what I mean by a pound of flesh. Put in some manpower, some man strength, woman and man strength down there. But anyway, my peeps, listen to these updates, much needed information. Say anyway, watch.
We move forward from the initial shock of Hurricane Melissa. The government's response is being guided by a clear, structured, and disciplined framework. We are pursuing recovery through 4 overlapping phases: immediate relief, emergency relief, stabilization, and recovery, and then long-term reconstruction and rebuilding. Each phase carries distinct priorities, but all share a single purpose: protecting the lives and dignity of our people and restoring our nation with greater resilience than before. The immediate relief phase began even before the hurricane had fully passed. In those critical hours, our priority was to safeguard life and maintain essential order. Search and rescue operations were initiated in affected communities as soon as it was safe to deploy teams. Emergency shelters continued to operate at scale, ensuring food, potable water, and medical services for displaced families. Our uniformed services secured critical infrastructure, while ODPEM, municipal disaster teams, and volunteers coordinated life-saving interventions. This phase focused on urgent humanitarian needs, clearing access routes for emergency response personnel, and stabilizing high-risk areas to prevent secondary loss of life. Then we entered the emergency relief phase, the phase in which we are now. This phase includes clearing and reopening primary road corridors, accelerating the restoration of power and water systems, and expanding mobile and community-level distribution of relief supplies. We have also mobilized medical outreach to shelters and affected districts, while ensuring psychosocial support for children, elderly persons, and vulnerable families. International humanitarian assistance, including airlifted supplies and technical teams, began to arrive and integrate with Jamaica's national response system during this stage. The central aim of this phase is to relieve suffering, re-establish safe access to communities, and stabilize essential services across the island. All members of Parliament will be allocated the following sums for the trucking of water. $2 million to the following constituencies most affected by the hurricane: Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Trelawney. $1.5 million to selected constituencies in the following parishes: St. Catherine, St. Andrew, Clarendon, and St. Anne. We have $1 million to constituencies in the following parishes: in Clarendon, in St. Anne, and in St. Catherine, to certain constituencies. And I won't call out these names, but the minister, well, there's $1.5 for some constituencies in St. Catherine, in St. Andrew, Clarendon, and St. Anne, because they are particularly affected. I don't want to go through the detail of calling out each constituency, but $1 million for others. Madam Speaker, to speed the flow of humanitarian goods, the government had approved customs duty and GCT exemption for the importation of relief supplies for one month, expiring November 28th. Recognizing that recovery efforts are ongoing and will extend beyond this 1 month period, we will extend this relief period by a further month to the end of December 2025. This measure will ensure that every shipment of relief supplies can reach our people quickly, efficiently, and without additional financial burden. In addition to the eligible items already announced by the Jamaica Customs, and in consideration of the extent of the damage to the electricity grid in the most affected parishes and projected timelines for complete restoration, I am announcing that persons will be allowed to import Starlink equipment and other such equipment, inverters, and solar power equipment, including panels and batteries, free of custom duty and GCT. Madam Speaker, this is in an attempt to get power and communication back into the communities that really need it. That really need it. Now, I know others will take advantage of it, but I appeal to every Jamaican. If you can buy 2 Starlinks and send one to a family or a community, do it. If you can buy solar batteries and solar panels and give it to a community or to a household in the affected parts of Jamaica, please do it. I will look into that because they are already giving a loan. But I know that when we give up these revenues, others will benefit from it who don't really need it. So I've asked Jamaicans to use your conscience. Ensure that the other half of Jamaica that is suffering now benefit from this relief. I want to say, Madam Speaker, that 40% of the island has been impacted from an economic perspective. It means that the other 60% of the island must double our economic output. Fields destroyed in St. Elizabeth, in Manchester, in Westmoreland must be replaced by fields brought into production in St. Thomas, in St. Mary, in Clarendon, in St. Catherine. The other half of the island that is not impacted, we must increase our output. Madam Speaker, this is a good point for me to say that there is a notion emerging that somehow we are getting a lot of aid and there's a lot of money coming in. Yes, we have made provisions, but all of that is temporary. And at some point, all of that will dry up. And the government must be able to stand on its own 2 feet. And manage its finances, because while we intend to ensure that the relief phase is efficiently conducted, the recovery phase might be extended. And therefore, with not just the loss of physical assets, but the requirement to spend on increased social safety net, vulnerable, welfare and social support, we will have to have the revenues to support it. And so I repeat the point, Madam Speaker, that economic recovery is not an insensitivity to human suffering. Economic recovery, it is the way in which we bring human suffering to an end early. And those persons who are opposed to us going back to school and going back to work, get that out of your mind. Get the economy up and running right away. That is the only way we are going to be able to fund the recovery quickly. And I urge all Jamaicans to get that mindset in. For the half of Jamaica that has not been affected, your productivity will have to increase right away. Madam Speaker, even as the JDF has worked tirelessly in the field, the Jamaica Constabulary Force has executed its mandate to maintain public order and protect infrastructure. More than 12,000 police officers were mobilized across all divisions before the storm's arrival, with incident command centers activated and integrated into the national and parish emergency operations. Following landfall, the JCF immediately transitioned to securing communities, protecting hospitals, water facilities, petrojam and our airports, and escorting relief supplies into affected zones. I am pleased to report that due to early planning, strong community cooperation, and visible police presence, we have had no major looting or disorder incident to date. Madam Speaker, I am aware that there are persons calling for the implementation of emergency measures, states of public emergency or curfews. Madam Speaker, these are being considered, but we are very sensitive to the current situation, and we do not want to impose further hardship on persons by imposing a security measure. At some point, however, when we have established, as we are now doing, the hub and spoke for a supply chain operation to ensure that there is a consistent flow of relief into communities, that will have to be protected. And therefore, we will have to put special measures around the routes that have to be traveled and protecting the areas where they are stored and distributed. As well as, Madam Speaker, we have to consider the availability of the human resources. And so there are areas that are sensitive that we will have to man and have regular foot patrols and the like. And therefore, it may become necessary in moderating that to have curfews and other measures put in place. But we are not at that point just yet. But these things are being planned out so that the security operations don't come into conflict with the humanitarian situation that currently exists. All NHT mortgages are insured under the Trust's House Owners Comprehensive Policy, which covers damage from hurricanes, storms, floods, fire, and other perils. The NHT has already mobilized its branches island-wide to help mortgagors prepare and process their insurance claims quickly and efficiently. Second, recognizing that many families will need time to prioritize home repairs, the NHT will grant an automatic 6 months moratorium on mortgage payments for mortgagors in the worst affected parishes: St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, St. James, Manchester, and St. Anne. This measure will assist some 20,000 homeowners. For all other parishes, the NHT will continue to consider individual moratorium applications for those who have lost income or face special hardships, specifically in relation to marooned communities, of which there are likely in excess of 30 marooned communities. The JDF is in the process, or has already established, 22 humanitarian assistance and disaster relief outposts in the following areas: in St. Elizabeth, Burnt Savannah, Newmarket, Springfield, Lennox Bigwood, Bluefields, Betheltown, Amity, Beeson Spring, Tax Valley, Frome, Roaring River, Content, Glenbrook, Reno, Catadupa. I hope I've gotten all those names correctly. And in Trelawney, Cambridge, South St. James again. Adelphi is you. Adelphi is East Central. Well, they tagged the parishes incorrectly. Maroon Town, where is Wirefence? South Trelawney, Jackson Town, Falmouth, and Perth. So these are all the communities. I hope the members of Parliament would have noted the establishment of these. They will be establishing more outposts as they are able to stand them up. And the objective is that these will serve as humanitarian bases in what they call a hub and spoke operation. So right now, they were moving humanitarian aid through airlift and other means directly to the various communities. Now the phase that they are transitioning into is to move it to the hub, where they can store a lot, they can do 24-hour movement, and then from the hub to all the communities, including communities that are marooned. That way we can scale up rapidly the response to communities that have not yet been serviced. The accurate account of death. This is of particular concern to me, because the death toll, the last figure I heard was somewhere in the region of 32. But there are deaths that have not yet been, we know of them, but we can't account as to whether or not they were directly related or indirectly related. And so they are going through that process, as well as there are deaths which we know of, but we haven't yet recovered the bodies. Yes, and people have resorted to burying. However, just to be clear, we will recover all bodies, even if we have to exhume. And we will go through a process of proper identification and, where possible, determination of death. The science is there to do it, and we will do it. We have to account for every Jamaican who lost their life, because we have to account to their families as well. And we have to get a full understanding of the impact of the disaster. I'm told that your constituency so far has the highest number of deaths as a result of the passage of the hurricane. So we have some forensic teams here, and they are already starting to do the forensic checks on the bodies that they have recovered. I want to say to Jamaicans that we should prepare our minds that the number of deaths may be more than what we are already hearing, because we can't tell you now that we'll recover everybody right away. It does take some time, especially in communities that are marooned. And it is really unfortunate, but it is just the reality of the situation when you are hit by a Category 5 hurricane.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Prime Minister for his presentation today It covered a great deal of ground and provided useful information as to how we as members of parliament can expect to operate in the near future, and also the longer term approach that the government wishes to take in grappling with this catastrophic tragedy that has befallen our nation. I want to also take this opportunity to express my heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of all who have perished in this terrible. This presents a serious public health risk, and we have to address that very carefully. There is also a major public health risk from people with chronic diseases who need medications which need to be kept in cool conditions, refrigerated conditions, who don't have access to refrigerated conditions for medication. There's a huge risk that those persons will suffer negative health consequences from not being able to maintain their normal course of treatment for their conditions. We have to address that. So in the hub and spoke model which we're trying to build out, that needs to be taken into account fully so that there can be a delivery of health care to people in communities who are currently not getting it.